What is going on, guys? Randall Thor 19, the man with the million, back again with another daily video. Hope your day is going well. It's going to be my review for RiME, which comes out tomorrow on Xbox One, PS4, PC, pretty much everywhere for $30. It is developed by Tequila Works. You remember their last game was Deadlight. Now, for those of you worried about spoilers, don't worry, I will not be spoiling the story. And all the clips I've taken in the video are from the very beginning of the game, so you will stay spoiler free, and that is how you should experience this game without knowing any of the story details. So let's get into it, shall we? So RiME was first shown off at the Sony press conference in E3 2013. A couple years later, Sony decided not to publish the game, and Tequila Works bought back the rights to the IP. And people were worried that maybe something went wrong with development of the game. So it's been 4 years, and finally RiME is out. Was it worth the wait? And I'm happy to answer that question and say yes. It is absolutely, positively worth the wait. This game is almost a masterpiece. Almost. So this review I'm going to be talking about what I loved about the game, because there is so much I really, really loved. And of course, there's a couple things actually, that I'll nitpick that I have to mention. But right off the bat, the first thing you're going to notice are the gorgeous graphics. This game is one of the best looking games on consoles right now. The vibrant colors, it reminds me of like a watercolor painting. I can't tell you how many times during the course of playing the game that I stopped and looked around, panned the camera around to admire the beautiful scenery. I just sat in awe, and I honestly sat there a few times with my jaw open, just marveling at how great the game looks. So you'll notice that right off the bat how beautiful this game looks. Now, story, you basically are a young boy, no name given. You wake up shipwrecked on an island, and that is it. The game immediately starts. No tutorial, no explanation given. It's just go. Kind of reminded me of the beginning of The Witness. Now, the game is daunting at first. You'll come to these large areas, and you think that it's this big open world, but the game is set on a very linear path, which is, good but bad. Now, you can explore. There's a lot of collectibles and things to collect and different side paths, but for the most part, the game is structured to go down a linear path. And normally, you'll have your little companion, the fox, who will guide you along the way. Now, the story of the game is told through paintings, music, sounds, pictures in the game. There's no spoken dialogue, so you pretty much have to infer the story for yourself and, interpret it how you will. Now, if I had to compare this game to something, I would, the immediate comparison I thought of when I started playing it was The Witness, because of how it just threw you in there and didn't explain anything, but that's not exactly the game I would compare it to. I think this is most comparable to Eco from Team Eco. I immediately got that vibe. This is a game that I think Team Eco would have made, or the closest resemblance to a Team Eco game that I played in a long time, and that is high praise because I love their games. So even though the game, like I said, is linear, you can go off the beaten path and get collectibles, which will expand upon the story. So if you're confused about what's going on, you can, even after you finish the game, you can go back and chapter select to continue to get the story-related elements. Now, what is your character good at? Well, he can run, he can jump, he can climb, and he can pull blocks and move them around so he can climb up and down things. He can swim, and he can throw things around to solve the various puzzles situated around this mysterious island. And that's what this game is. It is a puzzler. There are many puzzles in this game. Some of them are very unique and a lot of fun to solve. I wouldn't necessarily call any of the puzzles in the game hard, though. There was only a couple throughout the whole course of the game that I got stuck at for longer than maybe 5 minutes. There was one particular one that I was stuck on for maybe 20 minutes because I didn't see the solution right away, and that one was on me. But most of the puzzles you interact by either pushing blocks, using the light and shadow puzzles, because there's many different types of puzzles in the game. You also have this ability that you shout with Y, which will activate certain glyphs in the area. They'll grow like blue or purple, and they'll activate doors, or they'll activate switches. That's kind of how you interact with the objects in the game. You pick stuff up with X, you shout with Y, which not only will turn on these switches I mentioned, but you can also break faces or light up fires, although you don't really need to, but it's just there to kind of like do extra stuff. Now, there is no combat in the game, and you don't fight, but that doesn't mean you can't die, because you will. You will die. There's no penalty for dying, though. When you do, and if you do die, you'll just respawn right where you left off. So there's no game over screens. The loading in between the different areas is long, but you only do that a few times. And that's one of the game's strong points, is that each of the game's areas, I'm not going to say how many they are, but each of them are themed in a different way. They all each have their own color palette, and they each offer a unique gameplay mechanic that is introduced in that area. So the game continues to feel fresh along its 8 hours of gameplay. And yes, that is how long it took me to beat the game in my first playthrough. It took me 8 hours to finish the game, and I enjoyed every single second that I played of this game, even so much so that I actually started a second playthrough soon after. Like I was saying about the puzzles, each of the areas offer a different set of puzzles as well. Some of them you might be screwing around with light and dark. Some of them you have to, and I'm trying to remain spoiler-free as possible, so maybe I shouldn't mention it, but no, I'm not going to. I'm not going to mention it, but the puzzles are very unique. They're not hard. Each of the different areas is themed in a different way, and offers new puzzles for you to basically solve. What else can we talk about? The trophies and achievements are kind of very ambiguous. You'll get some for completing story-related things that happen, but then some of the other achievements are ambiguous at best, that I didn't understand. Is it possible to get all the complete 1,000 in Platinum Trophy? Yes, you're gonna have to get all the collectibles and do a bunch of different things the game wants you to do, but I'm glad to do it because this game is utterly fantastic. Another thing, one of the best things in this game, goes along with all the puzzles and the different areas and the mechanics in the game, is the sound. Oh my lord, the sound and the score that accompanies the game is masterful. I can't stress enough, this might be one of my favorite soundtracks to a game I've ever played. Whoever composed the soundtrack, because I'm not sure of the person's name or the team behind it, but you created one of the god-tier soundtracks I've ever heard in video game history, honestly. And one of the biggest things about the game, one of the things I like the most, is the enchanting world that Tequila Works created for this game. It's so full of mystery and enchantment that I wanted to learn more about what was going on. And yes, the story is kind of kept vague and cryptic, at least in the beginning, but I was kind of, as I was playing, I was kind of coming up with my own theories about what was going on in the game. Now, of course, not every game is perfect, and this game does have a few flaws that I have to mention. First off, the frame rate. The frame rate is not good in the game. It will chug from time to time in certain spots, affecting the gameplay and my enjoyment a little bit from here to there. So be wary of that. So if you're worried about frame rate, this game can drop pretty bad in some areas. Also, I found some of the climbing mechanics, animations, and stuff like that not to be like great, right? They're serviceable, but there was times where he didn't jump necessarily in the direction I wanted him to. But those two nitpicks aside, that's all the negative things I have to say about this game. Because honestly, I adored RiME. I loved RiME, and I can't stress that enough, because I had an absolute blast playing this game. When I finished the game last night, I sat there and thought about it for an hour after I finished. It's a game that just sits with you even after you're done. When you're just dwelling on the experience you just had. And this was, even though I was greatly looking forward to this game, I didn't expect to get such a masterpiece. And I know I'm throwing that term around, masterpiece, but I truly think this is a masterpiece, or at least Tequila Works, whose previous game was Deadlight, that I thought was the basic definition of a mediocre game, to this. Kudos. You guys deserve all the praise you get. Hopefully all the other reviewers out there are loving the game as much as I am, because you have created something truly special that I feel every gamer out there deserves to play it for themselves, whether it's on the Xbox One, whether it's on the PlayStation 4, whether it's on the PC, or whether it's on the Nintendo Switch. This is a game that should be celebrated and showered upon with praise, because it is just a true remarkable achievement. I had such a great time from the second I started to hit that start button to the moment when the credits rolled. So much so that I went to bed thinking about the game, and when I got up today, I immediately went in to start a new playthrough to find all the collectibles that I missed. And I did explore quite a bit, because you can. Even though the game is linear, even though the fox kind of leads you to the next objective so you don't get lost, I didn't find everything, and I searched everywhere. I think I got 70% of the collectibles. So there's a lot here to explore, and there is a lot here to love. RiME is a fantastic game, so hopefully tomorrow when it comes out, everybody out there can check it out. It retails, like I said, for $30. I think it is absolutely worth every single penny of that money. Do yourself a favor and pick this game up. If my review didn't convince you, I'm sure other reviews out there will probably say the same thing as me. So yeah, I love this game, guys. I'm gonna give it a 9.5. So close to a 10, although I really don't give 10s. But this is probably going to be my game of the year. I don't really see any other game out there competing with it. But obviously I always keep my mind open. So yeah, like I said, it's just a remarkable achievement that what the Tequila Works have done, and I'm happy for the team that they got to prove all the naysayers wrong when Sony dropped the game and everybody kind of turned against them. Congratulations to Tequila Works. You made a wonderful, fantastic every adjective you can possibly think of. I love this game, and I hope you do too. And yeah, hope you liked the review, guys. If you did, hit that like button. Consider subscribing for more content, as I do have it daily. And I will see everybody later.